I woke up in a hospital bed with tubes in my arm and pain screaming through every bone. The car accident had shattered my ribs and punctured a lung. They said I was lucky to be alive. I didn't feel lucky. I felt broken and alone. My husband Evan had visited once, bringing cheap flowers and empty promises. He kissed my forehead and whispered everything would be fine. I wanted to believe him, desperately. 3 days into recovery, my phone buzzed with a notification. New listing near you. I clicked it, looking for distraction from the beeping machines and sterile white walls. The photo loaded slowly on the weak hospital Wi-Fi. My breath caught. It was my living room. My couch. My mother's antique piano in the corner. The handmade quilt I'd spent months stitching, folded perfectly on the armrest. I blinked hard, thinking pain medication was causing hallucinations. But the listing was real. The address was correct. The seller's name made my stomach drop. Evan Hayes. My husband was selling our house while I lay broken in a hospital bed, fighting to breathe. My hand shook as I scrolled through listing photos, each one feeling like a betrayal. Our bedroom. The kitchen where we'd shared morning coffee for 15 years. Every room was being advertised to strangers like we'd never existed there. The listing had been posted 4 days ago, I noticed with growing horror. I'd been unconscious for 2 days after surgery. He hadn't wasted time planning my erasure. The description read like a vacation property, not our home, not our life. Charming 3-bedroom with hardwood floors. Motivated seller. The words felt cold and calculated. I wanted to scream, but my damaged lung wouldn't let me take a deep breath. Instead, I did something smarter. I called the seller's agent number listed at the bottom. A woman answered, voice professional and warm, completely unaware of the fraud. This is regarding the Maple Drive property. My voice came out rough and painful. I'm calling about the house for sale. There was a pause, then shuffling papers on her end. Would you like to schedule a viewing? I cleared my throat, pain shooting through my chest with every word. I'm the owner's wife. I wasn't aware we were selling. The silence stretched too long, uncomfortable and telling. When she spoke, her tone shifted from friendly to cautious and slightly nervous. Mr. Hayes informed me you were unable to participate due to medical reasons. He has power of attorney to handle all property matters. Power of attorney. The words hit like another car crash, stealing what little breath I had. I'd never signed any power of attorney document in my life. My throat tightened with anger and disbelief. Can you tell me the lawyer's name handling this transaction? More shuffling, then she read a name that made my blood run cold and my heart leap simultaneously. Lily Bennett from Bennett and Associates downtown. Lily Bennett. My cousin. My brilliant cousin who specialized in real estate law and had a perfect record. Either Evan was the dumbest man alive, or this coincidence would save my life and my home. I thanked the agent and ended the call before my voice could break. My fingers fumbled as I pulled up Lily's number in my contacts. She answered immediately, her familiar voice a comfort. Lily, it's me. My voice cracked with emotion. Are you handling a house sale for Evan Hayes? Long pause, then her chair squeaked as she sat up. Mara? What's going on? Why are you asking about that client? Because Evan Hayes is my husband, and he's selling our house while I'm in a hospital bed recovering from an accident that almost killed me just days ago. The silence was terrifying, stretching out for what felt like an eternity. Then Lily's voice came back, sharp and deadly, filled with a rage I'd never heard. That son of a, he told me his wife was in a coma. He said you'd been unconscious for weeks and doctors weren't sure you'd wake up or recover. He needed to sell the house for long-term care expenses, he claimed. Rage burned through my pain, hot and clarifying, giving me new strength. A coma. He'd told everyone I was in a coma, practically dead already. I'm very much awake, Lily. And I never signed any power of attorney. I'm sure of that. I heard papers rustling violently on her end, things being thrown around. Oh, he's done. He's absolutely done. Mara, don't confront him yet. Don't call him. Let me handle this carefully and strategically. Lily's voice turned cold and calculating, the tone she used in court. He forged your signature, didn't he? That's the only explanation for this situation. I tried to remember signing anything recently, searching my foggy memory. I don't know. I can't remember signing anything like that before the accident. I'm looking at the document now, Lily said, her keyboard clicking rapidly in the background. It's dated the day of your accident. Your signature looks shaky, unpracticed, completely unlike your normal handwriting. This is forgery, Mara. Clear, prosecutable forgery that could send him to prison. The day of my accident. While I was bleeding and broken in the emergency room, fighting for my life, he was plotting to sell our home and erase me. What do we do? I asked, hating how weak my voice sounded, how defeated. We let him dig himself deeper into this hole, Lily said firmly, with absolute confidence. I'll continue acting normal, like nothing's wrong. I'll process his paperwork, schedule viewings, everything he expects. Meanwhile, I'll document every illegal thing he does with meticulous detail. Every forged signature, every lie, every fraudulent document he submits. When we're ready, we'll bury him completely. A small, bitter smile crossed my face despite the pain and betrayal. I don't want revenge, Lily. I just want my house back, safe and secure. You'll get both, Lily promised with steel in her voice. Now listen carefully. Don't contact him about the house at all. Act normal when he visits, weak, confused, grateful for his concern and care. Let him think you're too medicated to notice anything wrong happening around you. I wanted to argue, to demand immediate action and justice, but I knew Lily was right. If I confronted Evan now, he'd panic and cover his tracks, destroying evidence. Better to let him think he was winning, getting away with it. How long? I asked, needing some kind of timeline to hold on to. A week, maybe 2 at most. He's moving fast, very fast. There's already interest from several potential buyers. Of course there was. Evan wanted the money before I recovered enough to ask questions and discover his betrayal. He listed it at $300,000, Lily continued, her voice tight with anger, $40,000 below market value. He's desperate to close this deal quickly. $300,000. Our entire life together, reduced to a discount sale, a quick transaction. Do we know what he's planning with the money he'll get? Lily's voice darkened with something dangerous and knowing. There's a woman. Her name's on some account information he provided to me. Diane Patterson. Listed as a business partner, but my instincts say it's something else, something more personal. Diane. I didn't recognize the name at all, had never heard it. How long had this been going on behind my back? That evening, Evan visited with more flowers, a different bouquet this time. White lilies, the kind you brought to funerals, to say goodbye forever. He set them on the bedside table with that practiced smile, the one that used to make me feel loved. How are you feeling, honey? His voice was sugar-sweet, dripping with false concern that made my stomach turn. Better, I lied, keeping my voice soft and tired, playing my role perfectly. The doctors say I can go home next week if I keep improving. Something flickered in his eyes. Was it panic? Disappointment that I was recovering? It vanished quickly behind another smile, expertly hidden. That's wonderful news, really wonderful. But maybe you should stay longer, just to be completely safe. I want you completely healed before coming home. He wanted me here, away from the house, while he completed the sale and disappeared with the money. The mortgage payment, I said carefully, watching his face for any reaction. Did you handle it this month? I can't remember if I paid it before the accident. His hand tightened on the bed rail, knuckles going white with tension. All taken care of, don't worry. Don't worry about any of that financial stuff. Just focus on getting better and stronger. The lies came so easily, flowing like water from his mouth. How long had he been lying to me? Had our entire marriage been built on deception and manipulation? Thank you for taking care of everything, I said, letting my eyes close slowly like I was exhausted. I don't know what I'd do without you taking charge of everything. He squeezed my hand, his palm cold and clammy against my skin, not warm like it used to be. You'll never have to find out what that's like. When he left, I waited until his footsteps faded completely down the hallway before opening my eyes again. He'd left his phone on the chair, face up, screen still glowing with recent activity. A message popped up on the screen, and my heart stopped beating. Diane Redhart, did the lawyer call about closing yet? My chest tightened, but not from my physical injuries this time. Another message appeared seconds later, adding to the betrayal. Diane Redhart, I found the perfect apartment for us in Portland. 2 bedrooms, view of the river. You'll love it. Portland. He was planning to move to Portland with this woman, a whole new life funded by selling my house. The house my mother had helped us buy with her life savings. The house where I'd planted a garden and painted every room with my own hands and built what I thought was a real life. I took a photo of his screen with my phone, hand steady despite the rage coursing through every vein. Then I texted it to Lily with a simple message, more evidence for the file. She responded immediately, almost instantly, perfect. Keep them coming. Don't stop documenting everything you can. The next day, Lily called with an update, her voice urgent and excited. He scheduled a house showing for tomorrow at 2 o'clock. 3 potential buyers coming at once. Mrs. Fenton from across the street called me this morning. She's seen him bringing people through all week long. Mrs. Fenton, our neighbor of 15 years who knew everything. Sweet, observant Mrs. Fenton who watered my plants when we traveled and watched our house. Can you call her for me? I asked, formulating a plan. Get her to document everything she can. Photos, times, descriptions of every person he brings through. Already done, Lily said with satisfaction in her voice. She's been taking videos from her window since this started. She knew something was wrong when he told her you were too sick to be disturbed or contacted by anyone. Thank God for nosy neighbors who actually cared about people. He's getting bold, almost reckless, Lily continued, shuffling papers. The fake buyer I planted in the mix, she asked him directly about your condition yesterday. He said you were brain damaged from the accident and wouldn't recover enough to make any decisions ever again. Brain damaged. He was telling people I was brain damaged, completely incompetent, essentially dead. I have that recorded too, Lily added quickly, hearing my sharp intake of breath and knowing what I was feeling. He's building our case for us, Mara. Every lie, every showing, every forged document he submits. When this goes to court, he won't have a single leg to stand on. What about Diane? I asked, needing to know more about this woman. Working on that with my investigator, Lily said, papers rustling again. So far, we know they've been together at least 8 months, possibly longer. She's an office manager at a tech company downtown, recently divorced, no kids or other complications. They opened a joint account 3 months ago under a business name. 3 months ago, that was the exact timeline. Right when Evan started acting distant, working late every single night, being secretive with his phone and hiding screens. The signs had been there, obvious in hindsight. I'd just been too trusting to see them, too naive. The joint account, I said slowly, pieces clicking together in my mind. Is that where he's planning to deposit the money from selling the house? Exactly right, Lily confirmed with grim satisfaction. It's hidden under a business name, Hayes Patterson Consulting. Completely fake entity that doesn't actually exist anywhere. He's planning to take the money and run away to start over. My mother's voice echoed in my head, something she'd told me years ago, trust is earned, not given freely. I'd given Evan my trust freely, completely, without question. He'd been earning his escape plan the whole time, plotting against me. When's the closing scheduled? I asked, needing to know our timeline. He's pushing for next Friday at the latest. Wants it done fast, before you're discharged from the hospital and can interfere with anything. Today was Wednesday. That gave us 9 days to prepare everything. Can we stop it? We can do better, Lily said, her voice sharp with satisfaction and barely contained excitement. We can let him walk into a perfectly designed trap. Lily explained the plan in detail. She'd continue processing the sale, making everything look legitimate and above board. Meanwhile, she'd prepare fraud charges, divorce papers, and a restraining order with her firm's help. The buyer she'd planted was actually a partner from her firm, documenting every single interaction meticulously. On closing day, Lily said, excitement creeping into her professional tone, "You'll be there. Surprise guest of honor." The thought of seeing Evan's face when I walked into that room filled me with something dark and deeply satisfying. Over the next days, I focused on healing, pushing myself. Physical therapy was torture, but I pushed through every painful exercise. Every step without wincing was another step toward freedom and justice. Evan visited twice more, each time bringing small gifts and elaborate lies. He talked about my recovery like he genuinely cared, about our future together like it actually existed. He held my hand and whispered sweet words that meant absolutely nothing at all to him. I played my part perfectly, deserving of an award. Weak, grateful, confused, medicated. Sometimes I'd pretend to doze off while he talked, letting him think I was too medicated to pay any attention. Once, he made a phone call right there in my room, thinking I was completely asleep and unaware. Yeah, everything's on track perfectly. She doesn't suspect anything at all. Next week, we're free. The day before closing, I was discharged from the hospital finally. Evan thought I was staying with my sister Patricia across town, far away from everything. Instead, I went straight to Lily's downtown office. She had everything laid out like a war room, ready for battle. Photos of Evan showing our house to strangers. Copies of forged documents with my fake signature. Bank statements showing the fake business account and money transfers. Text messages between him and Diane, planning their future with my money, my life savings. You ready for this moment? Lily asked, studying my face carefully for any hesitation. I looked at the evidence spread across her conference table methodically. My entire marriage, reduced to exhibits in a fraud case. I'm ready, I said with absolute certainty. That evening, we rehearsed exactly what would happen tomorrow. Lily's firm partner, the woman pretending to be the buyer, would bring Evan here. Lily's firm partner would bring Evan to the office under the pretense of finalizing paperwork. I'd wait in the adjacent conference room, watching through one-way glass. When the moment was right, I'd walk in. He's going to try to manipulate you, Lily warned seriously. Tears, apologies, excuses. Don't let him get to you. I thought about him telling people I was brain damaged. Selling my mother's piano without thought. Planning a new life while I fought to breathe. I won't, I promised with steel in my voice. Friday morning arrived too slowly. I barely slept, running scenarios through my mind. Evan arrived at 10, right on schedule. Through the glass, I watched him walk in, wearing his best suit. He was carrying a leather briefcase like this was legitimate business. He greeted Lily with a confident smile, shaking her hand firmly. Mr. Hayes, Lily said warmly, gesturing to a chair. He sat down, crossing his legs casually, completely relaxed. No problem. I'm eager to get this wrapped up. My wife's medical bills are piling up. The lie rolled off his tongue so easily, practiced and smooth. I gripped the table edge, knuckles white with rage. Lily slid a folder across the desk. Before we begin, I need to verify some information. You have power of attorney for your wife, correct? Yes, Evan said smoothly, pulling out the forged document. She signed it shortly before her accident. Lily examined it carefully, taking her time. And your wife is currently unable to make decisions? That's correct, unfortunately, he said with fake sadness. The brain damage has left her unable to manage affairs properly. Brain damage. There it was again, so casual, so final. Lily nodded slowly, making notes. I see. And you're selling the property to cover medical expenses? Exactly, Evan said, leaning forward earnestly. The hospital bills are astronomical. This is the only way. Lily glanced at the one-way glass, the signal we'd arranged. It was time. Mr. Hayes, she said carefully, there's one small problem with the paperwork. His confident expression faltered slightly. What problem could there be? We need your wife's signature. In person, not power of attorney. The color drained from his face. That's impossible. I told you, she's not capable of what? I said, stepping through the door. The look on his face was worth every moment of pain. His mouth opened and closed, no words coming out. Mara, he finally gasped. What are you doing here? I walked slowly to the table, each step measured. I'm preventing you from stealing my house. He recovered quickly, plastering on a concerned expression. Honey, you're confused. You shouldn't be out. Let me take you back, sit down, I said quietly. Evan remained standing, hands reaching toward me. This is all a misunderstanding. Help? I pulled out my phone, opening the saved photos. Is this helping? I showed him the screenshot of Diane's text messages. His face went white. The apartment in Portland. Was that for my recovery? Lily stood, pulling out a thick folder. Mr. Hayes, I should inform you that I'm not just handling this sale. I'm also Mrs. Hayes's cousin and legal representative. His eyes darted between us, searching for an exit. This is a setup. No, I said coldly. This is consequences. Lily opened the folder, spreading documents across the table. We have evidence of fraud, forgery, and attempted theft. Every signature you forged. Every lie you told buyers. Every text about spending money with your girlfriend. Evan's lawyer persona crumbled visibly. You can't prove. We have videos of you showing the house, I interrupted. Recordings of you saying I was brain damaged. Bank records of the fake account. We have everything. I want a lawyer, Evan said, his voice shaking. You're welcome to call one, Lily replied calmly. But criminal charges for this fraud typically result in 3 to 5 years in prison. His hand trembled as he reached for his phone. Unless, I said quietly. He looked at me with desperate hope. Unless what? You sign everything back to me. The house, the accounts, everything. You leave my life completely, and I don't press charges. Lily shot me a warning look. We hadn't discussed this. But I was tired of fighting, tired of this man. Evan's throat worked as he swallowed. And if I refuse? Then I'll see you in court, and prison, I said simply. He stared at the evidence, his future crumbling. How do I know you won't press charges anyway? You don't, Lily answered honestly. But it's your only option. Finally, he nodded slowly. What do I sign? It took an hour to sign everything, document after document. Evan's hand shook with each signature, sweat beading on his forehead. He tried to speak several times, starting sentences that died. When it was done, Lily gathered the documents efficiently. There's one more thing, I said. Diane needs to know this is over. Evan's head snapped up. Leave her out of this. She's already in it, I replied. She helped you plan this theft. As if on cue, Evan's phone rang. The name, Diane Redhart. I grabbed his phone and answered. Hello, Diane. Silence, then a cautious voice. Who is this? This is Mara Hayes. Evan's wife. The one he said was brain damaged. I heard her sharp intake of breath. The apartment in Portland isn't happening. Neither is the new life with my money. Find somewhere else to live. I ended the call. Evan looked broken. Can I go now? Lily nodded once. You have until tomorrow evening to remove your belongings from the house. He stood slowly, moving like a man twice his age. At the door, he turned back. For what it's worth, I'm sorry. No, you're not, I said. You're sorry you got caught. After he left, I sank into a chair, exhausted. Lily put a hand on my shoulder. You okay? I nodded, tears finally coming. I built a life with him. How did I not see this? Because you loved him, Lily said gently. And because he's a skilled liar. This isn't your fault. But it felt like my fault. For trusting too much, for not asking questions. What happens now? Now we make sure he leaves, Lily said. I'll file a restraining order. If he contacts you, he'll be arrested. And the house? It's yours. Completely, legally yours. The next day, Mrs. Fenton called me, her voice excited. Dear, I saw a moving truck at your house. I know, I said. Let me know when he's gone. It took Evan 6 hours to pack 15 years. Mrs. Fenton gave me a play-by-play. He's taking the ugly lamp. Oh good, I never liked that thing. Now oh my, he's crying on the porch. I felt nothing. No sympathy, no sadness. His tears didn't mean anything. He's leaving now, dear. Driving away in that truck. I thanked her and ended the call. Then I sat, staring at the wall, trying to figure out what came next. The house was mine, but full of memories I didn't want. How do you live in a house haunted by betrayal? My phone rang. A number I didn't recognize. Against better judgment, I answered. Mrs. Hayes? A woman's voice, professional and apologetic. This is Catherine from Riverside Realty. I'm calling to apologize for my role in the attempted sale. I had no idea about the fraud. It's not your fault, I said tiredly. You were lied to, just like me. Still, I feel terrible, she continued. If there's anything I can do, actually, I interrupted, an idea forming. Can you tell me the market value of my house? The real value, not Evan's price. She quoted a number 40,000 higher than his listing. Enough to start over. Can you help me sell it? I asked. Legitimately, this time? Of course, she said, relief in her voice. I'd be honored. After we hung up, I called Lily. I want to sell the house. Are you sure? She asked carefully. I'm sure. I can't live there anymore. Too many ghosts. Where will you go? I looked around her guest room. Somewhere new. Somewhere he's never been. Over the next month, I focused on moving forward. The house sold quickly to a young couple expecting their first child. I hoped they'd fill it with better memories. With the money, I bought a small condo downtown, near Lily's office. Modern, efficient, nothing like the house I'd shared with Evan. No history, no ghosts, just blank walls. Lily helped me furnish it, dragging me to stores. You need color, she insisted, holding up bright throw pillows. Your old house was so beige. Everything had been beige. Evan liked neutral tones. I'd stopped having opinions. Red, I said suddenly. I want red. Lily grinned. Now we're talking. My new living room became a statement in crimson and gold. Bold, loud, unapologetically bright. Nothing like the home I'd lost. Everything like the life I was building. 3 months after the confrontation, I was grocery shopping when I saw them. Evan and Diane, in the checkout line, looking exhausted. They didn't see me. I watched from behind a cereal display as they argued in harsh whispers. We can't afford that apartment, Diane hissed. I told you we needed, I know what you told me, Evan snapped back. They looked diminished somehow. Smaller than they'd seemed in my imagination. Just two people who'd made bad choices. I could have confronted them. Could have said something cutting. Instead, I turned and walked away. They weren't worth my words. That evening, Lily came over with wine and takeout. I heard Evan lost his job. How? I asked, not really caring. His boss found out about the fraud. Company policy on criminal behavior. Lily poured wine. Diane left him last week. Moved back with her parents. I should have felt vindicated. Instead, I just felt tired. Do you ever wonder what would have happened if he'd just been honest? Lily considered the question carefully. You would have been hurt, but you would have worked it out. You're not vindictive. But he didn't think I'd be fair, I realized. He thought I'd fight him. Or he's just a coward, Lily suggested. Some people would rather lie than have difficult conversations. Maybe that was it. Maybe Evan was just weak. How are you doing? Really? Lily asked. I thought about it honestly. Better. Some days are hard. I still wake up expecting him, then remember. But the condo helps. Starting over helps. Having a space that's completely mine. Lily raised her glass. To new beginnings. We clinked glasses, and I felt something shift. Not happiness exactly, but close. Maybe peace. The next morning, I started job hunting. I'd been a graphic designer before Evan's career took priority. I'd put my dreams on hold. Someday was now. I updated my portfolio, reached out to contacts, sent applications. Within 2 weeks, I had 3 interviews. By month's end, I had a job offer at Hartwell Creative as senior designer. 6 months after the attempted sale, I stood in my living room, surrounded by red walls and gold accents. My mother's piano, the only thing from the old house I'd kept, sat by the window. I ran my fingers across the keys, playing a melody she'd taught me. The music filled my small condo, sad and sweet and perfectly imperfect. Like me. Like life. Evan had tried to sell everything I owned while I was fighting for my life, nearly succeeding. He'd forged my signature, lied to everyone, planned a future that erased me completely. But he'd failed because I was stronger than he understood. I'd survived the car crash. I'd survived the betrayal. I'd survived the loss of everything I thought was permanent. And now, in my red-walled condo with my job and my mother's piano, I was doing more than surviving. I was living fully. On my own terms, in my own space, with my future stretching ahead. He'd tried to sell my life. Instead, I'd bought myself back, reclaimed everything, and emerged stronger.